Hello, welcome to Hedgehog Naval Academy. Now, there are a lot of additional rules to pay attention to, or you can pay attention to. They're considered advanced rules, a lot of them, and so you can pick and choose. We're going to be slowly adding these into the lesson plan, if you will, so that we don't overwhelm anyone with just a lot of information all at once. We're also going to be doing the scenarios in the order in the book to kind of help highlight some of those. So we're not following these rules in the order they're presented in the book. We're going to pick and choose kind of based on how much complexity they add in, but also when do they show up in a scenario. So today our primary thing we're going to cover is terrain, but we're going to add a few other things as well. So let's take a quick look at what some of these things are. Okay, now we don't have the original punch-out terrain that came with the game. One of our members went ahead and he made up some of his own. Now we don't have sandbars, but we do have things that represent shoals and then small islands or rocky outcroppings. But this is a picture of what the the sandbars look like in the actual game, the game box, and these are the shoals. So let's talk about these different terrain features, because there are 3 different types of terrain features, and they all have a significant impact on how the battle unfolds. Okay. The first are sandbanks, which are, like I said, these little ones. Now these are actually very, very shallow points underwater. The sand almost reaches the surface, but it doesn't necessarily, and they shift a lot. You'll see these in a lot of shallow areas. So the key is now, let's pretend this is a sandbank, okay, for now, even though it looks like it's above water right now. Whenever you have any ship at all that is medium or smaller, so medium, small, so brig and frigates and small merchants, for example, they can attempt to cross, to go over it. But as soon as they reach it, they need to make a skill test. Now it's +2 still, but they need to make a skill test. Okay, so if at the point when they reach the sandbar, or when they activate on a sandbar, these medium, small, and tiny ships have to make if they fail their skill test when they're at that point, they actually take damage. Now they're not grounded, but they take damage. So take D3 damage. If they're going at light sail, it's all about the speed you're sailing. 2d3 damage if you're like this frigate at battle sails, or if you're going full sails, you're going to take 3d3 damage. Okay. Now, unfortunately, a large or extra large ships that come in contact with the sandbar automatically are run aground. They cannot move for the remainder of the game. They don't take damage. They simply run into the sandbank. They are grounded, but they can still shoot, but they can't move or turn. Okay, now shoals are something different. Shoals are actually breaking the surface of the water, and what's interesting is you only map, or you only model the part that is out of the water. However, they have a similar effect to sandbanks, but they're a little more dangerous, because small and tiny ships can sail within 3 inches without any issue whatsoever. They're just fine. However, medium, frigate-sized ships and extra large, medium ships cannot get within 3 inches. If they do, they have to make a skill test. So this is where some of the fun is. You're going to have to kind of gauge where is the 3 inches when you're trying to line up your next move. So let's use this ship here. We're going to try to move him, and here, is he within 3? Yeah, he's actually within 3 of that point. So what you're going to have to do, let's move this out of the way real quick, is the very first thing you need to do is make a skill test to try to avoid running aground, because there's 3 inches around this shoal, there's solid ground. If you fail the skill test, you do a collision with terrain. Now here's that collision table again from last time. Notice a medium ship is going to take 20 damage from running aground. Okay, but if he passes the skill test, then what you can do is you turn the ship just enough so that it is no longer within 3 inches, and then you continue the move. Okay, so it is very easy to put yourself in a bad spot and run aground. If you run aground, you take the damage, your ship is stuck. It cannot turn, it cannot move, but it can fire from that position. It basically becomes a fixed gun platform. Okay, that is the danger of shoals. Now, similarly, well, you can shoot over them. So if I'm over here with this ship, okay, and I'm definitely within, more than 3 inches away. Brig doesn't care. I can shoot over with no difficulty of shoals. There's no issues about with dealing with line of sight blocking. However, with islands, that's different. Islands operate exactly the same as shoals. So within 3 inches, a medium or larger ship needs to check for grounding. Small, tiny ships don't care. But islands do block line of sight. So when you are, I'm going to set this up a little different here so that you can see. Here's the ship is here, and I'll put the brig here. Okay. So I can see this brig right now because I'm seeing it past the island. Okay. There. However, since I don't see the whole ship in either case, I'm going to get partially obscured terrain. That's a -2 penalty to shooting. However, if I'm back here, again, measuring to the hull, you got to do hull to hull. And this is the island base. I cannot see. I can't shoot. Neither ship can shoot because they can't see each other. So that's what islands can do for you. They can block. You can kind of hide behind them so that the opponent can't see to shoot. Because remember, these guns are lower near the waterline. They can't shoot over these very well at all. I mean, they can't. It's just too tall. So that's the difference in between island and a shoal. The islands can be used to actually give you some degree of protection if you use them properly. There's one last obstacle that can be in the way, and that's actually wrecks. Now, if a ship there's two types of problems here. One is we talked about last time, the ship that struck its colors and it goes forward and anchors. You need to avoid it, so you don't want to run into it. However, there's also the wreck. Now, whenever a ship has taken all of its hull points, you don't have to remove it from play. This is actually an optional rule. You can leave it on the table as a wreck, mark it with something appropriate, and it's, again, does not participate in the fight except that it can block line of sight as a normal ship would, and it is a hazard that you can collide into, but a wreck can disappear. So again, these are only the ships that have taken all their hull points. They've been reduced to 0. Whenever you have a wrecks on the table and you do your test at the end of the turn for wind, if the wind changes at all, so you rolled a 2, 3, 11, or 12, then all the wrecks on the board sink. They no longer obstruct your movement or line of sight. So that's a way wrecks can actually be used. You can add some additional tension by leaving those ships that haven't exploded but that have reached 0 hull points. Leave them on the table until they actually sink, and that could add some interesting dilemmas for you to face as you're having your little battle. So, all right. So hopefully that kind of shed some light on how terrain can impact the game, and how you could possibly use the Rex special rule to add some variety to the results of your game. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Stick around for the next naval exercise, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.